You're next. Sure.
All right. All right, we call the meeting to order at 6:31 PM. We are missing, it looks like Mike and Vince. And that's it. And no guests tonight. Maddie tried to come. She was like, I'll come. I was like, you really don't need to do that. But I would do have a conversation to update with you guys about her. So Jerry, do you want to dive in?
I do. So Monday we had our downtown Estacada Commission meeting. And a couple of really good things came out of the meeting that I think that you guys are going to like. So they are going to start promoting all committees events.
Right, that got approved.
Yay.
Yeah. So if you guys have something going on, get the information to Hannah Smith. It'll go out in all of their promotions that they do, and they do a lot. They do a door hanger that they get volunteers to go around, and it puts all the events that are going on for 2024. They put them all on this door hanger. They print it out. It's beautiful, and then they take them out and they hang them on doors, because not everybody gets a water bill. Not everybody gets a paper. So it's just that's a way that they can get out into, they get the information out into the neighborhoods.
Awesome.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, which I think you guys will be excited about, is they do the 4th of July parade every year. And for the last, probably 15 years, the 4th of July parade has been something where people come here, they watch the parade, and then they leave. So we want to make it a bigger event where people stay in downtown. And in order to do that, they can't take that whole event on and do the parade. So my suggestion to them was to get with a couple of other committees, you guys, Parks and Rec, DEIC, if they want to get involved, and let you guys have like an area of town where you guys do arts, something in the arts, like flag painting or whatever you guys decide to do. Have parks do something where they have an event going on. Like, I don't know, they can go to Lowe's and get the birdhouse kits, and kids can build birdhouses, but something to draw people and keep them in downtown until the fireworks go off. So if there's nothing to keep people in the downtown, they're going to come watch the parade, then they're going to go home. They're not going to, normal day. So
because we had talked, we're spread pretty thin in July, but we did talk about doing like a chalk art workshop. Maybe that would be the time to do that.
I was just thinking that because we talked about a Saturday, and if we did it on the 4th of July instead.
Like do a chalk celebration where we're like handing out chalk, and then on that, Maddie and I talked about putting like a quarter sheet thing. It will be like a promotion of our couple things that are happening, and it could be like, join us after the parade to do chalk art at this area of town or something. Maybe we could do that then.
Do we have to get city okay to have an area to do chalk art, or businesses that were doing it?
the streets are already shut down. So
Oh,
that's the thing. We've already got the streets shut down for the parade.
so we could do we want to do the middle, the
But it's
intersection?
not, the roads aren't shut down until the fireworks, right?
The roads are shut down for the parade already.
And after the parade, they'll
So-
still be shut down.
After the parade, if we don't have anything going on, they're going to just reopen it. But if we've got more stuff going on,
Yeah.
if we've got events going on, which they are going to talk more about it in their at their April meeting, which is the first Monday in April. They're going to talk more about it. This was just an idea that was thrown out there, and but it was a well-received idea. So
I'm just trying to think about how we can participate without adding a thing.
Mhm.
Do like an hour after when the
Let's
parade
see what they're-
ends.
I think we wait to hear what they're doing.
Oh,
I'm just
right.
thinking about how we could combine it, because we can't add.
We
more.
could do a chalk art thing
Yeah,
and out, like
yeah, like when
basically,
you're trying, we could advertise it on the little packs of chalk.
yeah, and we can ask them to keep the street shut down for one more hour
Yeah.
after the parade ends, and then we
So-
could have the big intersection.
that was what, the good stuff that came out of that, out of that downtown Estacada Commission meeting. They
Nice.
want to make it a bigger event,
Well, and I have some updates after, I had some conversations with Connie as well, so.
Okay.
All
All right, well, that's all I have.
Great. All right, hi, Mike.
Hey.
So we have two sets of minutes. We don't need to approve right, do we have two sets or is it just the one?
Only one is printed.
Oh, good, okay, that's better. I was gonna say we don't need to go over the other one, but I have the other one with me too. Okay, so to take a minute to look at the minutes from last month. I don't see signs.
I'll move to approve so we can do something.
Oh, okay. Whitney sings.
I know, she's just right there too.
Who's Whitney? What is she singing?
Booker.
Oh, yes.
It's a long story.
I will second.
Who firsted?
Dave.
Okay.
Oh, I'm supposed to say that. Sorry, I'm not used to this yet. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You guys are gonna have to coach me. This is not my jam. Okay.
Over there.
No, that's Deborah. She's-
Happy to pass it over.
Oh, no, you're my emotional support chair. You can
That's
take
it.
control of that.
It's good leadership. You've designated the gavel responsibilities.
As a quick review of our financial statements. I don't know what this donation is all about. Do you know what that is?
That's
Sandy
new.
Stein?
Well, that's cool.
Somebody gave us $73. Thanks, Sandy. We should find out what that came from. I don't know what that's all about.
I'll check in with Alex when she's back
Lovely.
tomorrow. Probably next week.
There will be some upcoming expenses coming up because I have asked Alex, I don't think she got to it before she left, but I asked her to order us a couple of those big sandwich boards. So there should be expenses coming through soon too, and presumably also from you, Alicia, for the haiku.
What, dear?
You'll have some expenses to do soon,
Yes,
but nothing else at the moment.
Nothing at the moment. I have my trusty paper you gave me and I have a haiku update when we get there. We'll talk about it.
Great. All right, so not much going on. I haven't had a chance to check the mail, but there's been much correspondence.
Cool.
I received an email from Katinka from the Art Back asking for a letter of endorsement for their mural for Les Schwab. They're redoing the mural on the side there.
Cool.
I've already composed and sent that off to her. Just backing everything that they do and letting her know that we'd like to coordinate and support them as much as possible. So that door is hopefully open. It was nice to hear back from them. We haven't had a whole lot of correspondence with them since I've been on the commission, so.
Are they,
They were applying for a grant for it.
but are they doing a new design or is it, cause wasn't there one there before?
There was
they're
one.
rehabbing.
That
I
was
think it's
the Clackamas River Valley one. I think,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
And I'm not exactly sure if they said it was a brand new or if I just saw that they were applying for a grant to
Cool.
do the mural there.
Great.
Like Discover the Wild, I think it was called.
That's like
Um,
one of the most premier walls in.
Yeah.
the city.
Mhm.
Right,
It's
that's
coming in.
wonderful. So I received correspondence from her. Deborah finished up the RAC grant stuff and that all went through and got approved. We
Oh.
heard
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah, well, it was accepted.
accepted.
Yeah,
Accepted.
Check.
it was the final grant report for our funds from last year from RAC.
Yeah, so we had that. We've had some correspondence with Charlotte, our face painting friend, which I'll give more updates on when we get to the Arts at the Creek update. Lots of correspondence because I started sending out emails to all the community organizations, and I'll update about that later. Also got reached out to by PGE, which I was super excited about. I tried to knock down their door last year. not effectively to fundraise. And I got this email that was like, oh, we used to talk to Jane Reed when we gave money at the summer celebration. Who would you talk to? And I was like, me.
Nice.
We don't
Awesome.
do that anymore, but we do this other thing and we would love some money. That would be great. So they were excited to hear about our donation structure and all of that. And I let them know I am working on that. I am working on that because it needs to be tweaked a little bit. But they basically said that they thought that the money that they previously put towards summer celebration should pretty seamlessly be diverted to Arts of the Creek. Since I told him Arts of the Creek is like, it's the new incarnation of summer celebration.
It's our
So
big
now we
summer
have like a contact person at PGE, which I'm really excited about.
Nice.
Because just sending an email to PGE
Yeah.
or like community people at PGE just went nowhere. I sent them lots of correspondence last year with no answer. So he was very apologetic about that and very excited to continue contributing to us. Cool. So that was really exciting because I'm guessing that was a sizable donation in the past.
Yeah.
That's just the correspondence I can think of. There's been a lot of things flying around in the email because of all the rest of it's all Arts of the Creek related. So yeah, excited about that. So moving on to the current / upcoming events. There's been several city council things recently. So I went to the the committee chair summit on the 20th. Which was a good conversation. People had a lot to say. I don't know if there's a whole lot to update on I was really hoping to hear a little bit more from the downtown commission. Traffic and public safety took up most of the conversation. So we didn't quite get to them. And unfortunately, like Connie even had to leave before like the meeting was well past and she was like, I have to go. I have since reached out to her after this city council workshop about having a conversation with just her and Hannah and us, because we really need to open that door and talk to them about the tree lighting stuff and all
Was
of that.
Hannah also there that night?
Hannah was also there.
She's also very understated in a group too, so
Yeah.
I was listening.
Well, it was sort of like there's a lot of conversation that parks and DEIC and public safety like needed and wanted to have. They have a lot more in overlap, and then it's like us and the downtown commission and parks have like a separate.
It was definitely a informative session amongst the commissions, asking questions about what's going on, where and who.
Yes, Mike was there on speakerphone.
I was crazy sick
Yeah.
at that point.
He was delirious but listening.
Muted.
Yeah.
That was- yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got lots of updates from each other. Nothing too new coming from the downtown commission. They had some ideas about stuff they wanted to do this year, but nothing really set in stone. Like they talked about doing a Renaissance fair, bringing the Uncorked back, like conversations that have sort of come up, but nothing of super, like not a lot of substantial.
Who's talking about a rent fair?
The downtown commission was talking
Yeah.
about doing a Renaissance like
Hannah
fair.
was talking about it recently.
Oh.
And they are, even as the DEC, talking about making their way uptown.
Well, they made that proposal at the city council workshop.
Uh-huh.
And they said that was fine as long as it went fine by the main street. 'cause
But I
they're
think
the
that
main
that's
street
great
thing. Yeah,
because then
they can promote us.
I,
That also
yeah.
opens the door to
The
us
cross-promotion.
posting on Instagram
exactly. Is
because they're
vital.
grandfathered in because of the main street thing.
Uh,
Yes. So if they can promote us, then we
Yeah.
can.
That's the kind of information that's vital that you can only get in those settings, is like, how did you get access to that advertising? You know,
Right.
so
Right, yeah, they got grandfathered in. That's not something we can do, but if they're allowed to promote us, then that's a nice
So
loophole.
basically
guys-
what,
Hi, I didn't want to interrupt, but I have my hand raised for a while.
that was
Oh,
it,
who's
like,
there? Is that
Hi,
Hannah?
it's Elena.
Oh,
Turkey.
Elena.
Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to speak during your guest portion and I had a puppy barking, so I missed it. I just want to make sure that you guys have something on your project plan for the next year, because there's $30,000 in the percent for art that you guys need to do for the Wade Creek building.
Yep, that came up during our planning session in February. And Deborah, do you want to speak to that?
It requires that somebody from the Arts Commission be the chair of that committee.
Yes.
And we do not have anyone able to do that right now.
We wondered if that was something in the past, like that they've been able to hire. Did we talk about wondering if
A
they're
coordinator, yeah.
hire a coordinator to do it because we're stretched very thin and nobody's really willing to,
Is this the
like,
1%? thing?
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
takes, there's logistically, it's
30
just challenging.
grants Available this year?
Just for the Wade Creek parts, but we talked about wondering if the city would be willing or able to hire a coordinator to help us
Yeah.
through the process
I mean,
at least one time, so that we would have the ability to do that again, maybe by ourselves, because we're feeling a little lost in our ability to do it right now.
Okay, Melanie did say in the past that that they have worked with Clackamas County Art something,
Cultural trust, maybe?
yes, the Cultural Trust. And so that might be something that we can, and I'm sure part of that funds could be used, that 30,000 could be used to hire that person to organize it. Or agency.
Because we definitely, like, no one here has the knowledge, bandwidth, or time to take on that whole thing. Is
Yeah.
kind of what we came to, being like, we're really stretched pretty thin already with what we're doing. We want to be able to do it, but we thought if we have somebody that can help us through the process at least one time, then we would be able to maybe muddle through it more effectively.
I
the
think
next
we'd
time.
also said that we would talk about who might chair that committee when we meet it for our planning meeting in September, because Arts at the Creek are taking up so much.
And we also
Yeah.
have a potential, our new commissioner, seems like she might be a powerhouse that might be able to take that on. I don't know, is anyone else here?
Yeah,
While we're
like-
talking?
Elena, is there like a time frame for that? I mean, do those funds have to be deployed by a certain date in order to
No,
be
no,
utilized?
I mean,
Okay,
the funds are available now that the project is over.
okay.
Mhm.
So
Oh, I
it's-
see. I see.
It's
Thank you.
not that they have to be deployed, like in this fiscal year.
Uh-huh.
However, if you guys are not planning on doing it in this fiscal year, we need to know because we're budgeting now.
Gotcha.
So if you're not gonna
Got you.
spend the
The
30,000
thing.
in this fiscal year, then I need to know so we can make sure not to include it in the budget. If you're thinking that you'll be able to fit it in this upcoming fiscal year, then I need to know that so I can include it in the budget.
And this is just to clarify, kind of the art commission's wildest dreams on how to spend 30 grand on art for Wade Creek.
But it's a really specific process that you have
is.
to go through, like with the members of the community and artists and city
Mhm.
people and the selection,
Okay.
and it's a process you have to go through.
Yeah,
And do
there's a
we
whole
know,
procedure written out.
do we know who used to chair that
Jane,
committee? Jane?
probably.
Okay, because I think that's maybe where we start, is we get some kind of information from.
She'll know
someone
if she
who's-
didn't chair it.
Okay,
Yeah.
But the fiscal year, don't operate in a world where that matters. What is the fiscal year?
It starts
It's-
July 1st and runs through June 30th.
Okay,
but the budget has to be submitted and
In
or
April.
approved by
in
April. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
why she's.
so I mean, my guess
making
would
it
be,
relevant Now,
I mean,
Yeah.
September, we chair it till we can maybe organize.
yeah,
and focus
I
on
mean,
it
my
next
guess
winter.
would be that it wouldn't come up until maybe the following fiscal year.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
guys think that's-
if we don't even have a committee chair until September, it is
not
so
gonna happen
unlikely
in
that it's
6
gonna get
months.
finished by the end of June. I can say almost 100% that it won't
Yeah.
happen this year if we're
And
not.
this, it's not a
starting
fly by the
until-
seat of your pants. kind of
Yeah,
thing.
no, it's a slow process,
So I think,
especially for that amount of money.
is it fair to say then, as long as you're here, Lena, and we
Yeah.
can just give you this decision, that it won't happen this next fiscal year?
Is there any need for money to start the process? In other words,
Yeah.
How do
if you-
we-
I mean, if it.
Do
the
you
si-
need it
the-
to hire
The
someone?
process itself
Right.
with
Mhm.
community meetings,
We need
advertising.
retainer to hire someone.
Yeah, getting someone to coordinate that. If that might need to start this fiscal year
Mhm.
in order to have an
Right.
actual project to complete the following fiscal year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or we can just wait and see what happens, put it all off. But
somebody have a-
I think
Is
if-
there,
Do we know how to contact Jane?
Yeah,
I
I
have
can
it-
contact Jane.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that if we were to start talking about this in September, we would easily have enough work to occupy us before we needed to spend any funds in next year's fiscal year.
Yeah.
So we would probably be looking at 26, even if we did start the committee
In 24.
in 25, yeah.
I think that's fair. And then that gives us, because we really want to get the poetry in public places
Yeah.
going, like we have this other big project.
Mhm.
So we make sure that we have our time committed to that too. Okay, instant decision, does
Or-
that work, Elaine?
And sidebar, or unless Dave's project also is part of that larger.
I think that would
effort.
slow the poetry thing
Yeah,
out a
yeah,
ton.
Got you.
It's not, that's not, the financial part of that will be easier to,
It's
if
not.
it's in our own thing, I think will be easier.
financial. Gotcha. Okay, sorry to.
So how
Okay,
does,
so it's sounding like a no to this following fiscal year, but we will make sure to talk about it in September.
Sounds good. So it sounds like you're gonna put maybe forming the committee in this fiscal year and then
Yes.
purchasing the art in next fiscal year.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
will do some research and talk to some other people, maybe Jane, and see
Okay,
somebody that's experienced it, so we have an idea what we're getting into.
sounds good. That's all I needed.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Elena.
you.
was like, I didn't know she would
Okay,
say
so back to what the Downtown Estacada Commission is able to promote. They can promote events in Estacada that as far as what the Main Street program allows is something that will benefit the downtown core. So if you guys are having an event at Wade Creek Park for people, there's going to be a lot of those people are also going to come into the downtown and, you know, have lunch or, you know, shop or whatever. So that's what they're allowed to promote is some, you know, events
think-
that,
Plus, we'll be having some like community organizations that are located in downtown that
Yeah.
are gonna be at the event.
so yeah, they will,
I think we fall under the bigger umbrella
yep.
pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we also had to go, so that's just a quick word on the chair summit. We also went to, Deborah and Mike and I were all at the city council workshop. I spoke, I don't remember what I said. We're good. I was like, hey, we're here. I felt very on the spot. I didn't know. And I had to go first, which was very nerve wracking because I didn't
Jesse
know much to
did a
say.
fantastic job representing the Arts Commission.
It's very.
Fantastic job.
I know you walked in right
You
off.
started like right on time.
I know, they put me, I was like, I guess we're going alphabetically. Okay, but it's okay. I mean, we weren't the reason for being there. So we did, the only real question I fielded was about like, what are we excited about? And then, Heidi asked about our like outreach stuff. So I brought up talking to RAC or doing the RAC outreach event and how, we're now in more communication with the Clackamas County Cultural Trust.
What was the
Yeah.
second question?
Just like what we're excited about. And then Heidi asked about our like outreach into the greater community. And that was that. That was pretty short and sweet. Oh. Arts at the Creek. I wonder if we want to do haiku first. Sorry, a bunch of things just went through my mind at the
Yeah.
same time.
Are we skipping the planning meeting? Are we skipping that? Or I'm confused where we are. on
The planning meeting updates is kind of like updates about Arts at the Creek, which I think is gonna take up time. I want to make sure we get to
Okay.
the really recent stuff first.
Okay,
So let's scooch that down a little.
it's down here
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Okay.
so I put up flyers. Everyone in my family got sick. And so I was either cleaning up someone else's puke or cleaning up my own.
Influenza A?
Yes, for about 9 days, which was my
Oh.
window to walk the downtown area and put flyers up. I have been, like, I would have to like run to the store for more, you know, like Pedialyte or whatever. And I would be like, oh, Wednesdays is open. And I'd like park and like run in there and be like, can I put this flyer up or whatever? And then like continue on to Harvest Market. But I don't know. I feel like I did pretty good for the vast majority. I had this huge chunk where I was like, these are my days. And I was like, nope, these are not your days.
I'm trying to
Um,
spread the word because we don't have anyone actually signed up.
No
Oh, I
one.
need to
Oh
sign
my
up.
God, that's a bummer. Okay, so,
Well, we're coming. I just
well,
haven't.
I put physical flyers up. I did do, did a couple little things on social media.
I saw it on
And
Facebook.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Click
On the library
going.
signboard.
Everyone click going tonight. I will find, if you don't click going, I will hound you and make you feel bad about clicking going. I don't care if you go.
Right.
Click
to
going.
say. Okay. I just checked the form and I didn't see anybody signed up, but that doesn't mean, you know.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, we've been.
But we've had a hard time getting people to show up to writing one, so we just make sure we keep pumping it.
It's hard. I think people feel intimidated, which is why I led with pie,
Yeah, we have
not.
to emphasize the pie.
Not, I felt actually a little conflicted as I was writing it out because I was like, well, obviously it's a poetry writing workshop with like an amazing local poet, but like, let's just be like also free pie. And I talked to Harvest Market. They will donate 4 or 5 pies.
Aw,
They were a little wishy on it. I'm gonna try to show up and say, I would like my 5 free pies and
Well,
dare
make sure-
them to back me down that it's only 4. And then Riley is going to bake 2 for eating.
So
I've talked to Riley, she has agreed, and then I'm doing my follow-up calls. It's tomorrow, Thursday. I don't even know what date it is. I'll do my
If
follow-up
nothing else,
calls
we're gonna
tomorrow.
need help to eat the pies.
Hey, baby, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you, Dave.
Alicia,
You're cute.
Be sure when you go to talk to Harvest Market, be like, we'll publicly thank you on our,
Oh, no, they've already, I've talked to Dan.
I just
I've-
mean like we should, as
Oh,
get
yeah.
support, we can
Mhm.
send out some thank yous. and-
Absolutely, absolutely. I think if we do this again, maybe we want to get the okay before we get the flyers done up, because it would be so cool on the flyers to say all pie or,
Mhm.
pies donated by Harvest Market. But yeah, absolutely. We'll put it on the Facebook event.
We can
I
make an
can put it, I
additional
can put it
post
on the
then.
Harvest Market Facebook page if
yeah.
they have one, but yeah, I knew that they would donate. I just didn't, I had a little bit of a hard time getting a callback because their windows were just broken and it was a whole thing. And then it was sick and it was a whole thing. But yeah, I'm going to pick pies up from Harvest Market and from Riley next Wednesday. And then, or no, the day before our event.
That's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, so
today.
Tuesday.
No, our event is Thursday.
Our event is Thursday, so
Yeah.
I'll pick them up Wednesday. And then at the same time, I was going to get my plates and forks, and we don't need cups. Do we need bottles of water? Do we have water?
I believe we have one.
Okay, and I was going to buy all those at Harvest Market too, to give them a little more business and as a thanks, and I'll fill this thing out and turn it in somewhere. I don't know what to do with it once I'm done with it, but
The reimbursement thing,
yeah.
you just have Deborah or I sign it and then you just can bring it to City Hall to. the
Okay.
office.
Okay, actually, maybe I can come meet you, just have a pop into the library and have you sign it after I buy the stuff. But yeah, and so we're already in set, and people better come or I will be eating a lot of pie. And I will be making my haikus will be very sad and then very petty later on. So if you don't want to be part of a petty haiku. you
Maybe
better
like
be
in the couple days beforehand, we can do another post on our page, like reposting the event
Yes.
and be like, come eat pie.
And on the
Harvest Market,
local
donate,"
page,
Like
yeah.
to bring up Harvest Market and that we need some help eating pie.
There's a
It'll be
little
fun.
bit of a problem when you put stuff out too far in advance, because
Mhm.
everyone thinks, and myself included, oh, awesome. Oh, in March. Like, in the beginning of February, March is like a jillion years away because January lasted for 9 weeks. But February was only 2.5 weeks, so as it comes up on it, we just need to have everyone, if you can, share. Mark going, share it in all the things, share it on your own page. Talk about it. Get excited. I think it'll actually be very fun. I'm looking forward to it, so.
Nice.
It'll be fun. I'll
Alright.
have a little handout with a bunch of samples on it and
Very cool.
a few different writers and translators.
And we're getting, Deborah, am I stopping? I have to stop at the library to get the code or whatever, obviously,
And
and the whiteboard and water.
From City Hall.
Get it from, okay,
They'll probably email it to the Arts Commission email and then I'll text it to you
okay.
or forward it, that you do the email.
And we needed the whiteboard, we needed writing materials,
I'll bring
and we
paper.
needed water, which
I've got paper
you
and
guys,
pens.
you have paper and
Water,
pens?
Yeah,
sign,
paper and
and some
pencils, yeah.
table coverings and stuff.
Okay, you want me to pick them up from you or you want to bring them?
Can
I
you
don't-
text about it?
Yeah, yeah, I don't mind picking them up.
I'm really near.
Yeah,
but yeah. I'm often just able to come bring it, but I'm also
Okay.
really close.
okay. Or, and then you can come bring it and then I can drop it off or something, so
Yeah.
you don't have to come back or whatever.
Dropping off would be great. Okay.
I just shared it into a bunch of groups.
Well done.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Jerry.
Now, just to review,
Okay.
is this something that I could just write up for myself and put on like the Campanella Estates group?
You'll have to
And-
go
or
share it from.
I have to take it from the website. Okay.
So it's an event already.
yeah.
Yep, and you just
Okay.
click share and it'll tell you at the top, share with
Okay.
friends, share in a group,
Mhm.
and you just pick your options.
Okay.
All right. The next event we have coming up is the collage workshop. We already have Chelsea on it. We will need to order supplies at some point. So. Jean, I think that are you willing to reach out to Chelsea and?
I'm gonna see her, God willing, and the creek don't rise in a week or two, so I will ask her when I see her.
Okay, she's already like available and said she would put together the list. She was just in the middle of things and I asked her like several months.
Yeah. I
What,
can-
do you need for collage? Do you guys want like old magazines and stuff like
I
that?
have like a couple crates from
Perfect.
like hoard things and I couldn't throw them away after the last one like a year
Mhm,
ago, but we could probably use more materials. She brought a bunch of her own stuff the last time, and people brought old books and magazines, and it's helpful to bring it. It's also helpful to take it away because then I end up with all of it.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm sure I saved some of it, probably all of it. So we can do it. We can talk about that at the next meeting and just see what we have after we've talked to her. But the idea is to get supplies so we can have a tub that's like a go-to, like we keep the X-Actos, cutting knives, like everything that she gave away last time.
The
we wanted to
collage
buy them and keep
tub.
them. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we can redo that because it was super popular.
That's a good
last
idea.
year. And we'll definitely have to keep an eye on the sign up to like cut it off.
It was really
'Cause
fun.
It was, we could probably fit a lot of people and that other area has more space, but we have to make sure we have like enough supplies for
Yeah, the
everybody.
supplies, because the supplies you gave last time were really top notch, I thought.
I know, and then she gave them all away, and
Yeah.
as people were walking away with them, Maddie and I were like, what's happening? Why are we not holding on to this for next time? I was like,
Well, I
"That's a
saved
good
mine,
idea."
so.
Yeah,
I
I
still
have
got
some.
Yeah.
So great. Art in the park. I still don't have a date from the Parks Department. They just had their meeting last week, so I'm hoping that I'm gonna I have a draft already to email Vincent to ask him about it. So I don't have more information on that yet. Presumably last year it was somewhere in the middle of May. So hopefully I will hear back from them about that soon.
Oh, sorry, this is a very obviously last minute. Can I sneak something in about the Timberfest? Before we
is-
move to
That
upcoming?
is coming up.
It is upcoming?
Yes, I have words
Okay,
about
We
it.
also have to
Okay.
talk about budget
Uh-huh.
briefly.
Okay, yeah. Okay, really quick, Maddie. I have convinced her to take $100 from us. She won't take more. I tried. She was like, it doesn't take that much time and I'm happy to volunteer. And I was like, let us give you money because you're doing all this work from us and we just would feel better about it. So I would like to motion that we pay Madeline Miller $100 for her annual services and motion that we try to pay her more next year.
I second.
Next year it's $12 a month.
All in favor?
Hi.
I don't know if that needed to be that official, but we appreciate her. I have we had coffee and we have like our little to-do list. She's helping us work through some things.
So one thing that would be really great is to have an estimate from her of what she would charge someone else and how much time she actually does, because we can report that as an in-kind donation,
Yep.
which helps us get more money for grants.
Awesome. I will ask for that.
and
She's, you think
helps
she's
us
gonna
pay
show
for more
her
next year.
cards though and be like, actually, my time's worth $2,000.
You owe me $3,000.
She has already like recreated the Paiku, so we'll switch out the data or the flyer on that to reflect the Clackamas County Cultural Trust. She also made an image. We'll be doing a Facebook post. It's all happening in the next few days in my brain. So in the next week or two, a thank you post to the Clackamas County Cultural Trust, just saying like, we're so excited that we received this grant. I don't know if we put the money amount in there, or we just say we received a grant that will help continue to help provide free arts programming for our community, and do like a thank you post for that. And always more to come with Maddie. So she's really helping us out with that. Thank you for letting us use her. We appreciate her greatly. Before we get into Arts at the Creek / the other conversation, I really need, because I'm trying to make up the donation structure for Arts at the Creek for the fundraising, and we talked about how if people donate that we would a certain amount that we would put their logo on our summer project. I can't keep saying summer project, and I need help naming it again. But we had talked about it being like Art Quest Estacada, but then we can't do that. So I need a name, because I can't just keep saying summer project.
Like our bingo
Our like
card
little bingo
thing.
family, thing that we're sending off.
Arts around town.
It's not all arts
But
related.
is that,
Is the thing.
but we're not fundraising specifically for that.
No,
But we're
but
just including
We talked
businesses and
about-
logos.
we talked
on
about including their logos on it. Just as a carrot, since we're not gonna be putting their logos necessarily on t-shirts.
So on the bingo card, the cartoony cute little one, or the paper or whatever, their logos would be on the back or around the
Yeah.
sides or something like that.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Let's
And
see.
I've been trying to promote it, and I'm like coming to city council and coming to this and that, and I'm
Well,
just
it's not-
thinking like summer project.
It's not bingo, right? It's a map.
Well, isn't
It's
it?
gonna be a map on one side, and on the other side, it's gonna look like a bingo with like a grid
Oh,
of
okay.
different
Yeah.
activities that you can do.
Okay.
So we'll be bingo.
But kind of bingo, but not necessarily. I mean, it's just sort of a more like a passport thing where it has like.
You could
activities
do,
and
I
stuff.
mean, Estacada art bingo, it doesn't like. roll off the
Cultured Estacada.
tongue, But it, it's, you know,
Everything. famous.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oingo
Summer
Boingo's
bingo is
taken.
boring,
so
but it
can't
is
use that.
informative.
yeah, because it's not just arts, right? Like it's other community events. It's like sponsored by us, and it will have arts things on there, like our Arts at the Creek and our art workshops and the concerts in the park, and. But
It's a
also
summer
gonna have
thing though,
other
right?
things.
How about summer bingo or summer, summer, Estacada, summer
Estacada summer
challenge,
bingo.
Is it really bingo though, or is it just
Is it?
Estacada
Yeah.
Summer Passport?
Summer passports.
that
Yeah.
summer passport
That
works.
works.
Or, check.
I was,
Card or, something that it's like you're trying.
Check card.
Well, no, it's
Estacada
like,
summer passport.
The passport is actually a really good one.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that
people are
works.
familiar with
Yeah.
how
With what
that
it
kind of
is.
works.
Yeah.
You're like
Because we've done it
stamping.
before.
Yeah. Also, if there's a map that kind of goes with the
Yeah.
passport, so Estacada summer passport.
Yeah.
Is that what we,
It's fine.
is that what I heard?
And I think that's also when someone hears that, they have an idea of like, oh, okay, I know what that is. As opposed to something more esoteric, even though I love cultural Estacada. That could be anything. That could be this right now.
Hey, you know, I threw out 2 suggestions and y'all picked one. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Check. Arts at the Creek it's really full in my brain. My big things I'm trying to get out right now are the fundraising letter, which I'm gonna try to work on, and the vendor applications. We have 4 community organizations that have signed up already. So we have the International Student Exchange, Bee City, the library, and Ant Farm have all excitedly joined up and are willing to offer art activities. So that's 4. So I'm pretty pumped about that. A lot of the things bounced back, and we're searching for other emails, and I'm trying to get through to some people, but I only did that like a week ago. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm just trying to get our things in about that. I got an email. I tried to reach out to Jordan per our planning meeting. This is why the action things, I was like, one of my action things was to reach out to him about Timberfest
Oh.
and see if we could participate partially, what was going on with that. And he informed me that now they're planning Timberfest for the exact same day that we're trying to do Arts at the Creek.
Yeah,
So I
so
said, oh, that's a huge disappointment. Last time we talked about it multiple times in September, our dates were not going to overlap. So we obviously can't
yeah,
coordinate.
that's what I was gonna say is I can't.
So, and we're also
physically be
frantically
there,
just trying to make
nor
sure that we
would
have
I.
people sign up for our thing. I also don't know how much he never responded back to me. I asked if it was set in stone and that I was, I just was trying to nicely say I was really disappointed that it's overlapping. It's a really small town. Like, do we really have to have these two huge events?
I know
We
they're
want them to be huge. They're having an informational meeting
on the 23rd.
on the 23rd.
Should we just show up as a subcommittee and
I would love to plead
plead
with
our
him.
case a little bit?
I just wish it didn't need to happen on the same, I feel like
It
it's an
doesn't need to happen on the
I
unnecessary.
think that's a good idea
Yeah.
to show up at
This feels,
the two of you show up to the meeting and
this has political overtones.
plead your case.
Well, and I don't want to assume anything. He hasn't responded back to me, but like he asked about the event.
Right.
He was at multiple meetings where we talked
Right.
about it. He knows when our event was.
Right.
I'm disappointed that that's going to overlap and I would love to plead with him that I don't want to be fighting over our few local sponsors and vendors and community partners. And like, we were reaching out because we wanted to maybe be part of his event in some way. And now it's sort of this like, but I also have heard
also
there's
like-
inklings that they might not be able to even be at Timber Park.
Yeah, in the afternoon.
Because of the
or is it
parking.
Fireworks oriented or
It's
is
not
this?
fireworks,
It's
or
not-
the fireworks
no,
are
'cause
being
it's in the
sponsored
middle of-
just by the fire department this year,
Okay.
is what the. fire
Oh,
department-
and this is the end of
This
July.
is,
It's
and-
in middle of July.
yeah.
There
No
would be
way.
fireworks.
Fourth
so-
of July is a pushy.
And I
Yeah.
don't know how
July's
much
no go.
of this with him is set in stone. He never responded to me, or he has not yet responded to me about it. So I don't know,
What's
like,
that planning meeting? Where is it?
it's the 23rd at the library. At the library.
What time?
I can look.
I want to say 7 PM, but I'm not positive.
Okay, I got tree school all day at Clackamas Community College. That's a Saturday, but I could stop in.
I would
I
love
think we
to
just need
work
to
together.
Yeah, I think we just need to be there and we need to be like. You said that we wouldn't
It's
have.
2 to 5 on Saturday, the 23rd.
Hmm,
Two to five.
You said that, didn't you?
So I would love to have that not be a conflict in a very small town where we're all trying to support local. I also
Yeah.
feel like I'm gonna be posting about this event rapidly. Like that made me want to be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I want to make sure that we put that out there because we know we've had that event for a long time at that date, but we haven't made a post about it other than sending it to people that have been involved before. So we might just be posting like a save the date this week. That's like,
Yeah.
look forward to this coming up. I'm having a hard time mentally getting around it because like we were talking about the struggle for volunteers and this and that, and this just takes everything and stretches it really thin. So I hope that maybe he forgot, maybe we can work around it. I've heard that they're struggling to find a location that might be a
Can
problem.
you go to that meeting on the 23rd?
I might be able to go.
We can ask, we can get the save the date. I mean, it's already made.
Yeah, I
So we just have to ask the city to post it for us again. Easy peasy.
yeah, I just need to do the text for it. It's on my to-do list. I was hoping to do the save the date and the vendor application right next to each other.
I think
Because
that-
I also had,
in layman's terms, what you're saying is that we just prioritize ourselves in.
we're not changing our date. We already have people signed up.
That's-
and-
Oh, no,
yeah.
That
yeah,
was established a
like
year ago.
5
Yeah,
now.
cards.
yeah.
Like when we were buying the signs and saying it, like, this is when we're gonna do it.
Well, we
from
got a
now
grant
till
for it.
Eternity,
We will
so.
do our best. And you know what, like, we are also, like, we are, and this is me. talking myself through this, is that we are just putting on this great community event.
Right.
It's gonna be super fun, even if it's the same size as it was last year,
Right.
which was pretty small. It will be great and fun, and it's gonna draw a different crowd. I mean, like Timberfest had more people who were like going to hang out in the beer garden. We have like more families. It's not necessarily the same audience. We are just gonna do our thing and have it be
Well,
great and hope
and
that it doesn't end up.
There is
conflicting.
also the thought that if there's a bunch of stuff going on in town,
Maybe more people will be
people
out
are
and about.
more drawn to be like, oh, here and there and.
Well,
all
and
over the
yeah,
place.
it's
And
12
then
to
since we're
6.
out,
People aren't
you know
gonna
what I mean?
spend 6 hours at Arts on the Creek. They could easily do
And plus, like.
Yeah.
an
we have
hour and a half,
music
2
and maybe they
hours.
get Timber sports going.
and then
but it's
go and
something
then come
different.
back.
We just want to make sure we get on it with like some food vendors.
So I have an update when you're ready for that.
Yeah,
but
go for it. I'm done talking about it. It's been working its way through my brain, so.
So, first of all, our calendar, my husband has us leaving for our like little road trip. Sorry, let me bring my July calendar up on the 30th. So I might be here, but it is still iffy. So there's that.
Okay.
So for food carts, I have reached out to Walks and Wings, GDC Treat, the ice cream truck, Boblastic, Trails End, Kettle Corn, the Boy Scouts, and Christie's. I have had a yes on Walks and Wings, GDC, Boblastic, and Christie's, Trails End, and Boy Scouts. I don't know if my emails just went to spam or to a black hole or what, but I have not heard back yay or nay. So I don't know if anyone
If you don't
has.
Hear back from them soon. If you could, I can send that email from the Arts Commission.
That'd
and
be
that might
great.
Flag it differently since they've gotten that email.
Yeah,
before.
because it's just from me, so.
Yeah, that's the one
Um,
to Heath and to Pam, right?
Pam
Kettlehorn.
Pittman and Heath Suchberg, yes. So yeah, Christie's is down, save the date, Boblastic is down, save the date, the ice cream truck and Walks and Wings, yes. Boblastic wants to also do freeze-dried candy. They're not gonna bring their food truck, they're just gonna set up
Like a
a
stand.
tent, yeah, with the boba tea or whatever. And they also want to do freeze-dried candy. It doesn't look like it overlaps with anything or is directly competing with anything, so I said, I'll get back to you after a meeting, but it shouldn't be a problem, right? Okay, and Ivan from Boblastic wants to know, do we want his cousins to do cotton candy again? I don't know what that means, if that's a code, maybe he wants to get a drink later, I don't know. But he asked me if he wants, if we would like the cousins to do cotton candy again.
I would recommend, rather than having them do it, get in touch with Laura Armenta from the Estacada Youth Cheer.
Can you text me or email me the info?
Yeah,
can do
because the
that.
Estacada Youth Cheer, they're always looking for ways to get involved and stuff, and they have everything to do cotton candy, so.
So, and then you get those youth sports. I mean,
Families.
when you get a clique like cheerleaders.
You get
then
them
it
all.
becomes a social event.
It's the same gal that does Crescendo, right?
No,
Oh, no.
no,
Okay.
it's the other, it's the more, the cheer, the Crescendo is dance and cheer. Estacada
Okay.
Youth Cheer is they've been around for, she's been doing it for 20 years, so.
Well, send me her name and information and I will absolutely reach out to her.
Yeah,
so.
they used to do the cotton candy for the summer celebration, so.
Okay. cool.
Okay, that sounds fine with me. So no on the cousins. Or not yet, no. We'll see if Estacada Youth Cheer can't do it, then maybe we can say yes to the cousins.
And you can frame it as you're reaching out to another group that used to do the summer celebration.
I know, Ivan
Yeah,
school, like,
yeah.
I don't feel any, even if I was just like,
Yeah.
no, I don't think he would be like, oh, you know.
Extensive family of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, him and his twin, they used to work, when I first moved here, they both worked at the harvest market.
Yeah.
And I would always be like, hi, and he's like, it's not me, and I'm like, every time. And even when it was the other one, it was like, it's not, I'm like, how do you know I want to talk to him? Maybe it was you. But they're both great,
Yeah, they
and
are.
So, I mean,
the
that's
whole
like
family is fantastic.
Already like half the people we had last year, so even if that's it. call it pretty great.
So, well, here's what I'm saying now. If we don't hear back, okay, first of all, let's say we get everyone from last year, which would be Boy Scouts and Kettle Corn. That is 6 plus a SKU cheer. That is 7 food carts. Do we want to add more? That's a lot of real estate. That's like
Well,
in the
food-
parking lot,
But
right?
food wise, that's really
Food,
Walks and
it's,
Wings,
yeah,
Christie's,
Mhm.
and the Boy
and the Boy
Scouts.
Scouts.
Um,
So do you want to reach out to a more food
What's
cart?
my wife's coworker, his name is Tim. I did his wedding in August. He lives over here off Tickle Creek in that like manufactured home complex community thing.
Big Valley Woods.
He has a wood-fired pizza cart that he usually has stationed at PIR.
Oh, that would be fire.
He has specifically
wood
asked
fired
her
pizza.
repeatedly, can I come to this thing in Estacada? Can I come to this thing in
Yeah.
Estacada? So he's motivated.
Send me
I think if
his
you had something like
deets.
that, then that would cover like a
It's-
couple different kinds
it
of like
is
food, and then
fire.
drinks and desserts.
Yeah.
Pizza. He brought the cart to the wedding and
Okay.
just had his buddy run it. And it was like,
That sounds
it's
amazing.
like,
Okay, so you
I
will
wanna get
reach
him
out
hooked up with
to
Lonzo,
Kettle Corn and Boy Scouts.
Oktoberfest.
oh, okay. That's a good look.
Yeah. What's the
You'll
date?
reach out to Kettle Corn and Boy Scouts.
27th.
And then
July.
I will
Yeah.
reach out to Pizza and SKU's Cheer for Cotton Candy.
And we did talk about how we wouldn't charge the food cart
Yep.
anything, but we would maybe charge a cancellation.
A
fee.
$25 cancellation fee. I actually had gotten all these yeses before you sent me that info.
I think
So,
those people are like, they were here for us last year. I think they'll be here for us again.
Yeah.
We just want to like a little insurance that we
Yeah.
don't have anybody jump on us.
Yeah, and leading with that is nice for the going into with the people we haven't had before, like the cheer and the wood fired pizza guy.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
think a
yeah,
lot of those are like local people we have connections with and we appreciate them. I think there's not going to be like a break in that, which is cool.
so I guess my thing is now, if I'm not physically here, I need to hand all of these people off to someone.
Well,
Obviously,
I
it's
think
months and
that's
months from now,
Months and months
but
from now. So I don't
but it
think we
does come up quick.
Yeah,
so.
it will. There's one more thing I need to get an okay with to get back to somebody, and that's about Charlotte, the face painter.
Mhm.
So we talked about last year, this year, since we have a little bit more money, being able to actually hire her to just do it for free. Cause that's.
Oh,
fun.
that would be so
We'd
cool.
love to just pay her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we're also fostering a relationship with her after it was sort of burnt up.
Wait,
So-
and so it would be free to the kids
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
we're paying her? Yeah,
So we
that
would
would be
just pay
good
her to come and provide free face painting.
for a couple
So
of.
she,
things.
her rate is $125 an hour with a 2-hour minimum. If you book her for the full 6 hours, she would drop the cost to $100 an hour. She said she purposely held that weekend until she heard from us.
So $100 an hour for 6 hours.
It's
$600
$600
for
if we're okay with doing the full 6 hours. Or we do less. I just need to tell her because she's a busy woman. Her world filled up quickly. I don't know how you guys.
I
feel
wonder
about
if she would, I mean, do we have it in the budget? 4 hours with like 2 hours off so she can get some food, go to the bathroom, something like that. Saves us $200, but also keeps her there for the majority of the time.
Except that if we drop to 4 hours, she'll charge 125 an hour.
Yeah. So then we're only saving
six-
$50.
Oh, right,
I
gotcha.
think get crack-a-lacking on fundraising
yeah,
and do it.
I mean, I think
it?
that
Just
might-
call it for the 6.
well, and also, we had a music cancellation too.
Ah.
Kiyuzo, there, or what's his name?
Oh,
Tycho?
Tycho?
Yeah, some funding came through and they're taking all their students to Japan.
Oh, yeah, you
That's-
can't.
That's
Super
reasonable.
rad.
Yeah,
Hard to
Yeah.
compete with.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it's
you
already.
know, we have less $500
Japan or Estacada?
budget.
But that needs to go to another music class.
Right,
Yeah.
and you know, most people to drive out want like a couple $100 a head. I have a really slamming group of homies that are like bananas bluegrass guys, but you
And we
know,
have the
like
Ray
when-
Gordon band too. which is
well,
also
like a
cool.
wedding's like $2,500, so I'm gonna go in to their like Tuesday night spot and just be like,
What's the
Could you
name
do
of
it
that,
for-
the name of that local couple?
Barb and,
Yeah, Rick and Barb,
Uh,
have you,
I mean, Rick and Barb gave the money back this last summer. I gave them their check and they were like, can we just donate this to the Arts Commission? And I was like, well,
I love Rick and Barb so much. They're
I'm,
so
I'm certain that they would love to come down. I mean, we were definitely trying to do like a few, like fewer groups, longer sets.
Yeah.
We also talked
Um,
about like trying to maybe hire somebody or something that would be like really kid friendly.
I would love like a mariachi
Like
or
we talked-
something.
Oh,
I actually.
Yes, they got for the
Typhus.
Hispanic, the Hispanic Heritage mural.
Uh-huh.
They had a mariachi band come
Yeah.
by on a
They-
trailer and they were
they
like playing on
have
the trailer.
mariachi at Sandy at their farmers market. They have the mariachi guys, or it's actually a group with like younger people in it several times a year with like dancers and stuff like that. But that would be
I
awesome.
do.
That's
I-
what I grew up with in Texas, and believe me, it
Yeah.
is so fun,
Yeah,
and my kids
That would
love
be a
it too.
great representation too for Estacada.
Mhm.
I also know a drummer that I used to play with who is in a band called Captain Bog and Salty, and it's a pirate theme.
Yeah.
And it's a
I think if
it's a riot.
something
a
fun and
riot.
silly would be awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, okay.
Like, it doesn't all need to be like
So-
some big, this is like, they're gonna be families showing up with kids to
So-
like have a good time at noon.
I'm just gonna throw this out
Oh,
there. I know we're
Captain
not
Bog
trying to
and Salty.
recreate the summer celebration.
Program
But-
in September.
Okay.
The circus was really popular with
Well,
the
we
kids.
talked, I was
Facebook
gonna
right
say that last year, cause we talked about Circus Cascadia.
Yeah, they
Oh,
they came every year for the summer celebration,
yeah.
and even though we'd seen them a million times, the kids always loved them every
They,
time.
I know those guys personally.
Yeah.
They also now have started their own summer camps.
Oh,
So
so they're pretty
that
busy.
is, well, she's got a flower farm and they're doing like summer camps at their place. So I'll look into that too,
Okay.
because that could be,
Fun, out of the box,
So-
I think would be ideal, cause we already have like the Ray Gordon, we've got Casimir, like we've got some music, if we could have something more out of the box.
Reach out
I
to
should
Ant
find
Farm,
out
because
about
Ant
their-
Farm does the Sandy, aren't they involved in the Mountain Hood Farmers Market? And
That
they
is-
might,
yes, yeah.
they'll have the mariachi
Okay,
info.
okay.
And they had dancers and stuff. It was amazing. It was like, I was so excited.
We should include Rick and Barb, even if they're not like a main stage act, they might be willing to play like off to the side, because they've been involved in every arts thing
Right.
that I think has ever happened in this town, and it would feel really bad to
They're
not
so
have them at
cute.
all.
They were kind of like, oh, there's so much equipment up here and can we just use our, like
Well,
it was a little like.
Were we
over-
talking about how everything faces that one way and having something back by like that fence?
Well, we're definitely gonna
you know?
swing the PA around the corner so that we can hear in sort of a. 360 degree
backgroundy
thing, but
way,
also
though.
not pointed towards
Yeah,
down the path or whatever, so that's just a sort of.
like even if like Rick and Barb could play on that,
Yeah.
on that bridge, just acoustic. I mean, how cool would that be?
Yeah, I
That would
love,
be adorable.
when we were doing the Friday nights at Harmony, I
Mhm.
love just sitting and chatting.
Oh, yeah.
I love just talking to them.
People.
Yeah.
Okay, well, great. I'm excited about all of this.
Yay.
And thank you for processing the bump in the road. If anyone coming up closer to that date, maybe we can communicate via email or phone. I do not want to go to the Timberfest thing by myself. If somebody else is willing to come, I would appreciate it.
I have to look at my paper calendar at home.
Me also, I'm
yeah.
not entirely sure I'll even be able to go, but like, I don't want to go by myself
I would go with you if we,
if it works out.
yeah, if it works out.
It's like spring break week, so it's a little bit.
I think we might be babysitting, so
Right.
it's in the evening. Is that what you said, Jerry?
Middle
2
2
to
to
5.
5.
Oh, in the afternoon? Oh, up
Saturday.
to 5. I might be able to go at least for the beginning. We have a babysitting co-op in Portland, so I think we probably have to be there at 5, which means we have to leave at like 4:15-ish. But maybe they'll let us speak if we show up at the beginning, just to plead our case.
And I will communicate if I hear back from him
Mhm.
before then.
I can't make that time. I've got no-
Yeah, I can't either.
Okay. That's all I have about Arts of the Creek. Deborah, I think needed to talk about. I know we also
Budget.
have,
Are you talking about this? Or is this just for me? Or for us to look at?
We
Okay.
have parks and poetry and public places in the budget. I still have on the agenda that we haven't talked about.
Mhm. Do we need to talk about the budget stuff this meeting, Deborah?
I believe that we do, because it needs to be submitted for city council in April.
Yeah, it's due by the end of April.
By the end of April? So could we talk about it at the April meeting potentially? Right. Oh, and I also need to, I guess that's just a me thing. Sorry. Well, there's another city newsletter that's coming out. That city newsletter, maybe it was for the water bill. Something that was for the next couple of months that I need to respond to them and make sure that they are able to promote our events if they can. So far, I'm gonna be putting on, it would be the collage. I'm not gonna say anything about 4th of July chalk stuff since we don't know 100% what's happening with that. So it'd really be collage and Arts at the Creek.
I saw haiku on our little electric board over here on the way home today. And then are you gonna put haiku up at the library? I will. Oh, can I add something? Sorry.
You guys are messing
Sorry,
me up with
Jackie.
my minutes.
I'm so
today.
sorry,
Right, that's
Jean.
it. But I had to give the agenda before I had my act together, so it's not a very linear
It's
agenda.
okay, it's not the minutes late too, so it's all.
Okay,
on
I would
me.
like to add an agenda item at Jean's discretion.
it's fine.
Can we talk about the poetry thing first?
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, do you wanna
Let me throw this.
If
Write it
I-
down.
talk us through what you
I
got?
just made notes and I think there are things, most of which we need to think about. There may be a few things we have to decide, but I think I ran out of question marks before I finished here, but what size committee do we want and how do we want to construct that is something to think about. We want certainly more than one person making decisions. Do we want to have we talked about hiring someone to coordinate it and that kind of situation, that person could maybe read all of the applications and give us 20 to pick from or something, there are ways to do that. But those are things we should think about. Do we want people outside of this commission? And particularly item number 2, maybe someone from Parks and Rec would like to be on that committee as well. That coordination is going to be important because
We talked about that.
they'll have to be involved in the installation. Do we want to get a corporate sponsor? And they could get their logo on the signs, which would be long-term advertising. And again, the signs will cost $45 each. I don't know if the park uses will cost more and the bolts and screws or whatever, but it's relatively inexpensive to do. We need to have some kind of a standard design. Vincent was going to draft something for us to look at and see what we wanted to do with that. We also wondered if this city staff would be the place to send this using just the website and have it mail and email to the city staff and they would sort it out so that committee members would essentially just see the submitted works and not know where they came from or not
Right.
necessarily
So
know.
they
Yeah.
can redact the cover page or whatever.
Yeah,
before we
and
do this
that'll
too.
show up in later details, but again, it's a matter of staff time or do we need to pay somebody to sort everything out for us as well, so that's something.
Or
to think
maybe
about.
if there's someone on this commission that's not on the judging commission,
Yeah,
they can take
yeah,
that on.
so
person
again,
could
but
do
those
that
are all
themselves.
sort of
Yeah.
mechanics we should have worked out. Do we want promotions of submissions beyond the city web pages or how else do we want to do this? If we want to, we can all share them. I know, but we should talk about that a little bit. I was just kind of estimating in my head. I'm from sort of the outside submitter in the Mankato experience. One year they had very few things and we got back information right away and very thorough. And the second year I submitted things, I didn't hear anything for 6 months because they got so many of them at
Mhm.
once. So I have a feeling if we get maybe 50 submissions the first year, that would be really good. I think, again, it depends on what weight and what time we put into promotion and sorting. So think about, yeah. Mhm.
Are you aware of the Clackamas County Writers Conference?
No.
So Clackamas County Community College, I think is who hosts it in April or May. Has a writers conference, and that would be a really good place to connect with people and also promote it. I know about this because they have a short story writing contest. And so I've been getting the emails about that. And so it just kind of, they would be good people to connect with.
And that would be a group that would connect with our region too. So
Yeah,
good.
and they've been doing this short story competition for a while, and then the prize is like free admission to that event. So they may have judges that they're connected with, or a process that is pretty well honed, and advice for this area, places they advertise. Because I know that they've done it at least a few years.
Okay, I'll try to I'll see what I can find out
I'll
about
see if
that.
I can forward that
Yeah,
to
okay,
you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now,
Okay.
but that's a great idea.
Yep.
There's nothing about 2024 yet.
And we've
Oh, okay.
decided that it would be school district boundaries,
I-
or no?
That's what I was gonna ask is
If we-
how far of a reach do we want to go?
Well-
Because,
If you look at when we get to the last point, that'll suggest some things about,
Okay.
about that. And then we also have to, select the location. And that's another reason to have park people and someone connected to city, involved in that. And again, we might want to set our goals. We want to do 10 poems or 15 a year. And do we want to leave them up for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years? Whitney said those signs will last, so we could do fewer over a longer period of time, or those are,
Maybe that's depending on how many submissions there are.
yeah. And then the last point is kind of what we would have to send to potential contributors. And I suggested a cover letter that identifies the writer with the title of the poems. And then the poems would be submitted without writer identification on them, and whoever sorts them could just use letters or whatever to mark them and do that. Poems should be no longer than, up to 5 poems should be submitted. That's pretty standard for most kinds of things. Poems should be no longer than 20 lines. And again, that's covers most of the poetry that gets written, but not all of it. And I counted from some of my signs, and 35 characters counting spaces is about the line length. Now we can allow people to fudge that a little bit, because you can always drop down and add a half line, but the signs will look nicer if they're in that range. And then, as we talked about before, I thought the writer should include a description of his or her connections to Estacada, Clackamas County, or Oregon, Oregon. I haven't quite adjusted yet. I haven't quite adjusted yet. Still some choice. But anyway. Oh, yeah. But I think that would give it a regional quality without necessarily limiting it to living here at this moment.
Okay.
And then we should think about if we want to use previously published works. I'm kind of against that because it's a nuisance, but I put it in just as a possibility. So we can just strike that half line, but if they are previously published and we want to include that, we can say that they have to have permission. They have to identify the source and have permission to reuse it.
I would just strike it.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna.
I would
such a
prefer to have
complicated
unpublished
endeavor.
material. Yeah. Okay, but I just left the option in. And then the last line, that sentence would just drop then, if previously. Writers under 18 years of age must include their age and indicate parental approval for publication, for submission. And I think when we post them, if we have very young contributors, the age is important for the readers to read them appropriately. Yeah. So those are the
Will they
things
be
that I,
named? Sorry. will
yeah,
the
the
signs-
author's
they'll have
name will be
author
on
name.
it. Yeah.
So like Susie, age 8, or we probably would also
We'd have their
strike.
full name, I think.
If they're under 18, you might
Well,
They
that's
might
why I
not,
have to
that
have
would be-
parental permission, yeah. And then I was just thinking, but we also had the, what's the little squiggly code that goes on everything?
QR code.
QR code, we can put that on, depending on what we want to do with it. You know, what we're gonna use it for, we could
I
use it.
mean, I'm 47
Mhm,
and the kids, the way that they process information
Mhm.
is all, everything's YouTube,
mhm,
which is so annoying.
mhm.
But it would be great to have some kind of digital reference point where you could go to further information.
Mhm.
Well, and really,
It
if
would
we
be so cool if we had like the authors reading their poem on YouTube. Like if you scanned it on the
And
QR
you could- and
code.
someone could take that video with their
Yeah.
phone and they could title it and they could add the
Mhm.
link.
Or they can
And
pick it,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
the author
They could
can
be,
have
you
it,
know, they could
do
be
it
standing
themselves.
at the site of the new installment, you know, what I
Mhm.
mean, or whatever. So there's
Yeah.
a bunch of
Mhm.
different ways we could go with that. I think that's a
Well, we
great
can also
Okay.
create like a landing page for that on our.
Yeah, and I have-
website. The website tells you like what other places you can find
Mm.
it, or more about the project, or.
Could we weasel our way into Steven's Questica?
I'm
somehow
sure.
with just
I mean, because the
reference
whole
points?
thing about it, they're in parks,
Right.
correct? And in
Yeah,
public spaces in
spaces,
Estacada.
So
And that's part of,
the
Mm.
only
know.
consideration with the QR code is if we're printing them on the sign, that it needs to be a stable web address that's gonna be consistently working for
Right.
what, the 2 years? So if we have it on like the Arts Commission website and it's a landing page for the project, and then we could have whatever links like Questicada or YouTube or whatever, like from that landing page, then that would be maybe a little bit more stable too.
Thank you for actually understanding the process.
Mhm.
yeah, so it would be, so Steve's doing this website. But it's not going to be, it's not like he bites the big one and it's like, oh, there goes the website. Like, I think it'll be it's a city website. He's just doing the
I think if we
code,
want it to,
writing
we
it.
want it
and
to link it
we'll
to
probably
what we are
hand it
doing.
Mhm.
We should
Well,
link
it
it
could
to
be
our arts
both.
commission, and then maybe there's a link to that or something.
Yeah.
I think.
Could it be
to
on
be
the
determined.
Estacada,
I think-
on the Estacada Arts Commission website and the Estacada Parks Commission website? There's
Well, the
no-
QR code can only take you one place.
Well,
Well,
I'm just
that
saying-
would go to YouTube, right? Is that what you guys?
No,
are-
Well,
well,
no, I
saying
mean,
no.
I
Oh,
think we
oh.
land it someplace solid that's going to exist in
Yes.
perpetuity, and then we could be like, if you want to listen to your artist.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I sorry.
If you
That
wanna,
was
if you wanna find the
misunderstanding.
other ones,
Such
you
a
can go to
pleasure.
Questicada over here if you can.
We could embed, I think we can embed video and audio on the website. There's all different kinds of
I know
media
what
files.
Mankato did is they had us read the poem and they just had an auditory. one.
Oh,
And I
An
think they
That's
also,
cool too.
and I think they also then had map and directions to get to other sites.
I think that's actually, I hate a QR code, to be honest. Like, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me right now? I gotta get this all out. and
I
do
don't
all
wanna
this.
have
Just-
anything
can I-
to do
can I
with
have 'em
Setting it
manual
up, I know that.
But I love the idea of like pushing a button and just hearing someone
Yeah.
sing the poem. And that's nice for people who are, disabled in different ways, where it's,
mhm,
or even like people who don't own cell phones. They still exist. There's fewer and fewer, of course. But, or people have cell phones, but they're not paying for Wi-Fi or whatever, like.
And often people prefer listening to poetry than.
I'd
reading it
much rather
themselves,
listen to it
too,
than-
so that would be
Yeah.
an advantage.
And accessibility is a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
it's having an audio option is.
Would you maybe, I know we talked about Chelsea maybe being a good person that might be a good judge. If you're gonna see her soon, you want me to float it?
Sure.
Want to read some poetry?
And Emily Post.
Emily Moon.
Moon Post. Emily
Emily
Post.
Emily
I wasn't
posted
even
like
gonna
a
question
pre-written
that.
letter.
Mhm. She can tell us everything we're doing wrong with our etiquette.
Who can
Okay,
ask Emily
um,
Moon?
I can,
I,
I can text her.
yeah,
Okay.
okay, I only have Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I
don't have her
think
phone
we
number
can,
anymore.
we can dedicate a large amount of time to answering all these questions and maybe creating a timeline when we meet in September for the longer meeting. That will be our big project that we can actually make a timeline and make some like actionable decisions then.
Are we contacting people as potential judges then, or?
Yeah, just seeing if they would be interested. Those are
Mhm.
people that
And maybe
local,
also saying, if you are interested, come to the September meeting
Mhm.
type of
I don't,
thing.
no, I don't think
Oh,
we,
no.
well, that will be a pretty, that's a long
I
meeting.
think that Emily and Chelsea are pretty committed to the cause, so they're reliable.
Yeah.
And if you think of a good contact person for the park board or maybe
Well,
one or two.
It would
people who do
be
it.
Vincent or Steven.
I would do, the only thing when Steve has to come and do co-meetings with us, no one is home with their children.
Yeah.
And then
Vincent's-
they're smearing
But I think that
hand
that's,
sanitizer on that
I'm-
quilt back there.
So he has the band.
Do Vincent, and then if Steven needs to come to one, I can maybe sit out and.
Sen-
well, I
you
also
know,
think
or something.
we can create a subcommittee so that a
Yeah.
couple of you
Yeah.
can meet and do a lot more things. I know they have a lot going on in the next couple of months with creating their plan and putting on their couple things.
Yeah, Steve would be good for a subcommittee,
Okay, yeah, I just think
because
that
I wouldn't be on.
that this has to work through the park board. If we just come in and say, do this, that's not gonna go. We've gotta.
No,
Their input, even about the selection of the poems, I think would be.
And I think they'd be excited. Everything I've heard
Especially
from
the
Parks
first
is
year.
like, they're all in on like,
Mhm.
you know, arts and making, you know, the parks just a more fun,
It's a good-
enjoyable experience
good
for everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to Eagle Creek.
I-
Sports pickup.
So I would like to add my one, I
Yeah.
had my brain, my brain worked, for a minute there. I volunteer in library at Rivermill Elementary every Tuesday, and I was talking to Debbie, my work wife, who is the librarian there, Debbie Tubergen, and she said that they can promote events that are promoted by the library, Estacada Public Library. All the Estacada school librarians can promote Estacada Public Library aligned events. So I was talking about how I'd love people, you know, it would be so cool if like I could promote this Paiku thing I'm doing with like the kids, but I can't get in touch with anyone and the issues we've had. And I was like, talking about how Deborah, I was like, yeah, we have a library person on the board. And she was like, oh, well, if it's, I don't know, if it's promoted by Estacada Library, they can promote it, or if it's in concert with Estacada Public Library.
Must be the right
that's-
chain of custody.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, because I was like, well, I think Deborah was saying she was gonna put it on the reader board at the Estacada Public Library, so I don't know if that's good enough. But, so that's something to know.
I mean, you could always present it as the Estacada Library, put it on the reader board. Can we promote this?
Yeah. But that's something, you know, for if we do things maybe in concert with the
Mhm.
library.
Could you get me her email address?
Yeah,
That'd
absolutely.
be great.
And
Yeah.
then we would at least know that our stuff can be now promoted in the libraries at the middle school and at the high school, and especially for the thing. I would hope so. Oh God, please tell me they have a library at the high school. I don't know.
I just
I-
wrote.
We're
Elise
not,
will
we're
connect
not
with
there
Deborah
yet. We're
as
only
soon
in
as
third
it's
grade. I don't even know. I would hope they would.
But schooling there,
Deborah's.
you know?
But
Having
anyway,
Had graduates.
so.
No,
the
they've
stuff
had a
we-
librarian in the
this-
past.
The stuff we do where we're like doing writing, creative writing, poetry, collage, stuff like that,
I
you
bet we
know,
could-
our poems in the park. You know, like these are all classic things that like Estacada Public School children should be involved in, or at least should
Way to find an in.
know about. Yeah,
Yeah,
and so
we got
that,
an in where we
that
see
was
it.
the in I got. And I
Awesome.
can I'll send you her email and then you can reach out if you want and see where the crossover is or whatever. But I mean, that was, you know, like I said, I've reached out to the principal and vice principal and like you hear nothing, and the superintendent, you hear nothing. So I'm trying to, like water, I find the cracks and get in there, so.
All right. Woo, an in. All right, Well, if we don't have anything further,
I
tackle.
have one more thing. So I've started a conversation. So over the last few years, as the city of Estacada has had an issue, not just the city, but the community of Estacada has had issues getting volunteers. So I started a conversation with Melanie about forming an ad hoc group, hopefully of commission and committee members. I'd like to get at least one from each committee that does events, to get together and brainstorm ways to recruit and retain volunteers. Because every single event, every single commission is running up against trying to get volunteers. And that's everywhere from the library, from, downtown Estacada Commission, Parks and Rec. That's everybody. We all have an issue. Even, community groups are having issues getting volunteers, finding and recruiting and retaining volunteers. You get people that'll come out for this and never come back to doing it. So I would like to get, like I said, I started a conversation. I would like to get a group together, meet a few times, brainstorm ideas, come up with something to where we can, recruit and retain. So just using this as an example, I volunteered a lot at the Timberfest in the past. It took, just for parking volunteers, literally was at least 50 people, because it was the soccer team, it was the cheer team, and I want to say boys and girls basketball that volunteered every single time. And I know they paid those teams for, at least they donated to those teams for their time. But I know just an event like that, the parking was at least 50 people.
Right.
So, the summer celebration was, 50, 60 volunteers. We don't have that volunteer base. We have twice the population that we had the last time we had a summer celebration. And we don't have near that volunteer base to put on one of those events. It's 9 times out of 10, the majority of the volunteers are the people sitting in these chairs, and that's really, really hard. So I would like, like I said, I've started the conversation. I'm gauging interest. Like I said, I'd like to have at least one person from each committee that has events show up, once we get, if and when we get this rolling, to, just sit with me and brainstorm ideas, come up with a plan to recruit and retain volunteers.
I will add that I could sit on a committee. I can't volunteer beyond that, but in my past life of doing evaluation work, we did a lot of evaluation of volunteers. We developed databases. Went back when we used to have community summits, which I think we wrote grants to have those events. They were like all-day workshops that volunteering came up a lot in that as well, but the last one of those was right before COVID. So I'm willing to sit on that committee. I can't promise time beyond that. And
Nope.
even sitting on the committee is very dependent on.
Yeah, and
timing.
that's the thing. I mean, it would be an ad hoc committee, not a permanent committee, just something we get together, until we figure it out. We meet a few times until we have something that we can do, or we figure we just can't come up with a solution.
From your
So-
meeting with Melanie, what kind of support would the city be able to give for that?
Just
Because they have started
Mhm.
something like that previously. They were gonna help with volunteer retention and recruitment, start a database. And it was active for like 6 months and then
See,
disappeared.
And that's the thing. The conversation has just started. I talked to her Monday after the downtown Estacada Commission meeting. I just started the conversation. I let her know that that's what I would like to do. And I just wanted to gauge, your guys' interest to see if this is something that's worthwhile to, to go after, because it's something that I'll put my effort into it, because I see the struggle of everybody needing volunteers, and
Talked about
Yeah.
that at the committee summit. It's like, well, I want to help each other out at events, but like we all pour so much time and energy into our own committee stuff. Like, I don't have time to volunteer at Oktoberfest. I've spent so much time doing this. I can't also do that. So it's
Yeah.
hard when we are the volunteers. Like
Yeah.
you said, we are the ones that volunteer. And so we can't, it's hard to just show up to help somebody else. I would
Right.
love to be that person that could show up and help somebody else. but-
So, and the one area that we do not utilize is every single senior at the high school has to have a certain amount of volunteer hours to graduate.
Oh, shut up. Really?
Yeah, they have to have a certain amount of volunteer hours to graduate.
Oh,
That's
cool.
that's an area that the committees have never really capitalized on.
Well, again, people have tried over and over and over again to get any sort of in at
So-
the school district at all, and we've all
So good
run
news,
into major walls.
good news is Heather Randall, one of the owners of Wednesday's Wine, is now a downtown Estacada Commission member. She's a committee member. So she's already got an in at the school. She runs a program at the school. I don't remember the name of the program, but she either co-runs or runs a program at the school.
Oh, that's
So
great.
they
feel
have,
like we're
they're
doing
going to
one.
utilize her in
Okay.
and going to get,
I mean, I think it's,
Gonna try
it
to
should be
gain
a
traction
major
there.
goal of the city and all commissions to connect with the school district. All of these things could change in a massive way if we could connect with the school district, promoting our events, getting kids to show up, volunteers, all of those things. Like we all, it has come up in like every conversation we've had with parks, with downtown, between us independently all the time. We need an in, we need that.
so
in
now
with
I
the
don't know
district.
I don't know how they did it, but Downtown Estacada Commission got the boys basketball team to volunteer at Oktoberfest. They were there, setting up, cleaning up, you know, they were
And
there.
wait,
So
I was on, when I did summer celebration, was it the Boy Scouts or work something?
Yeah. I
We
know.
had these guys that were that were a big volunteer base, mostly young men and women. They were some work crew. I can't remember what it was.
Can we, Robert's rules gavel out just and.
Yeah, we're gonna
just
have,
share
to-
that?
yeah, we're
I
kind
got
of
an
at our
9-year-old
time.
domesticated
Yeah.
who has done the practice in 3 minutes, so I got.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay,
wanna- I don't wanna
let's-
jack up the.
No, that's okay. These are ongoing conversations. Needless to say, we
So-
are interested. We
Yeah.
would love to
I
be a
think
part of something like
yes
that.
Is the answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
because I'm gonna be this is gonna be something that I run with,
Personally,
you know.
We're in.
And
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
so
like
I'm-
Jean said she would be at least willing to
Yeah,
help
just-
and,
okay.
yeah.
Big gavel.
I already have plans to
Love you
talk
guys. Thank
to
you.
Timberlake Job.
What was it, Job Corps maybe?
Yeah.
Like Jeff,